Ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Today is April 9th, 2024. I've asked everybody to sign the sign-in sheet. Make sure everybody's done that. Number 3 is citizens input. That would be citizens input related to the public hearing regarding a replat on 1552 East Highway 276. So does anybody, hey Sharon, how are you?
Good.
Does anybody have, let me just read it all. Replat public hearing, 1552 East Highway 276, West Tawakoni. The property ID number is 113675 of the AO 186 Carter Redmond edition. Track 1 through 4. Acres is 4.56. It's zone commercial, and the request is split it into 4 lots. This is the property directly across the street from us. I've got the replat here that shows us this. We've talked about it in other meetings, and because this plat, there's another one on next to it which belongs to Gory, and there's a property to the right of it that belongs to Gory. This particular acre, the 4.56 acres, is James Chimp property, and so they wanted to divide it into 4 different lots. And if you want to pass it around and look at it, we'll start over there. Did you have any of a crowd down at your place yesterday
Yes,
for the eclipse?
it wasn't shoulder to shoulder, but all of the hotels and cabins were rented, all of our shelters were rented, all of our RV spots were rented, and we had day people coming in.
You
We
can't
had-
complain about that.
We had, I mean, it was like Memorial Day in April. We had a gentleman that came from Finland.
Yeah.
And he had originally planned on watching the eclipse in Dallas, but it was cloudy. So some online map that showed cloud coverage, people were just following the map and finding us.
Wow, that's good.
We had a couple from England.
Good for you.
We had people, and the first reservation I got for the eclipse was in September of 2022.
Upside down.
We laughingly say that we had a whole marina full of nerds this week. You know, and believe me, they were the nicest customers, polite, didn't throw trash on the ground, you know. I mean,
Should have invited them back.
oh, I did.
Go ahead and do reservations for the next one.
Yeah.
20 years from now.
20 years. I don't know if my software would handle 20 years, but it handled from the people that reserved in 2022 for this event.
Yeah.
It handled it.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
Texas,
but it
it's
was
gonna
just
be
like-
another 300 years.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be around for that.
Some of the numbers need to be on this little one.
This is gonna be yours now. Okay, we've had time to look at the plat.
I think we've lost Lee.
Oh,
She
Lee?
No, she just turned her video.
Oh.
Okay.
She didn't want to be seen. She's incognito.
I'm here.
Okay, I got it, yeah. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I just stepped away for a second.
So I've already read that all. Any discussion or action to close this public hearing? Do y'all have enough? We're gonna, it's gonna be on the agenda. I don't know what line item it is, but it's coming up on the second page after consent agenda. Be number 8A is where we'll actually have a discussion. But is there any more discussion that has to do with this before we close the special session? If not, then I would entertain a motion. Chris, entertain a motion to close public hearing.
I second that motion.
Kevin, second. All in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Jack O'Connell.
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Okay, it is 6:35. We are having a break until 7. We have to wait until the scheduled time before we can start.
Did you get, please?
Guys, I'm gonna leave this open just on my end, but I'm gonna mute and stop my video for a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll see you back in a little bit.
I have two
We're gonna call this meeting, the regular session, the meeting. If everyone please stand for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this gathering tonight. Father, we humbly ask for your guidance and grace will be present in this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion that will benefit our city. And we thank you for the opportunity and calling to be leaders to work for the common good. We are so grateful for our businesses and for the services, jobs, and goods that they offer us. And we're grateful for our citizens and volunteers that live here and work to make our city a great place to live and visit. Also, we'd like to thank you for those that work for our city and are truly blessed by their efforts and dedication. Father, just protect and watch over all of us as we go about our daily lives. And may we be filled with your strength, grace, and peace throughout the days ahead. We ask all of these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any announcements?
I have one.
You have one?
The results from the Keep West Tawakoni Beautiful Adopt a Highway Plan on this Saturday. We had 17 volunteers and we picked up 18 contractor bags full. I mean, they were full of stuff, and 12 smaller bags and then some assorted items. So Mary and Dwayne Hall wanted me to be sure and thank everyone that came to that for their help with that. It looked really nice out there. There wasn't really a whole lot, even though we had that many bags. It really wasn't that bad.
No.
But it was a great day, and thank you, Chief Alderson, for coming and escorting us, keeping us safe while we were out there, because there was a couple of times when they got a little close. But anyway, Mary and Dwayne they wanted to be sure and thank everybody for doing that.
Okay. Any other announcements from the audience or the council or anybody? Nobody?
Oh, the Easter egg hunt. Yes, the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, that was, okay.
Yeah, that was a big success too. I think we probably had around 300 kids that came, and we want to thank everybody that donated eggs and candy for that. And unbelievably, the response was just incredible. We had 9,000 eggs for those kids, and it took them less than 6 minutes to pick them all up. So thank you everybody for doing that for the kids.
Very good, very good. Any other announcements? Okay. Moving on to citizens input related to agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience that has input that is related to the agenda items? And the reason I'm specifically saying related to agenda items, because at the end, we always have the citizens input non-agenda related items. So does anyone have any comments, questions, concerns about the agenda? Moving on, consent agenda. I'm not gonna read all of it off. You've all got it in your packet about the minutes, the bills to be paid, financials, reports from the various departments, from permit, public works, police. I've got public works, Michael Stafford's gonna kind of give us a briefing here a little bit later on in the agenda, as well as Chief Alderson. So we won't go too much into that, but you got all your minutes from all different departments. The chair would entertain a motion for the consent agenda item.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items. That would be number 6 and then A through L, yeah. Oh, yeah, there is a.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, A through M.
I'll second that.
Oh, it is, okay. I need to back up there.
Then get to all your.
That's fine, but we've got that on that M. It was on the second page at the top. I didn't catch it. There is a report in there from an All-American Dogs. I believe it was placed outside of your packet. that kind of gives a diary of what's happening in our city from March 1st to March 31st. Do you have anything, Shannon, to add or expound on that?
The only thing I can tell you is if you have dogs that are a problem, please contact the All-American Dogs. The number is on our website. If they do not answer, leave a message. If you have a problem with them not returning calls, please contact me and let me know or come and file a complaint.
Okay, everybody got that? Good.
Did you vote for it?
So, Kevin made a motion on the consent agenda items. Do I hear a second?
I seconded it.
Okay, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Meyer.
Jack O'Connell.
Chris Burkett.
It is unanimous. Moving on to 7, old business, discussion and or action on the City of West Washington welcome packet. Jack O'Connell's been working on this. Have you been able to sit down with Shannon and or Michael?
Yeah,
and
Shannon.
Get some more information?
Shannon gave me everything.
Do we want to put and I'm thinking about maybe putting together the final draft.
Yeah.
And then let everybody have a copy.
I still need headshots, which I don't have. But other than that, like it's good to go.
Okay. I just like for everybody to see what encompasses what's in the welcome packet. And maybe somebody may have some ideas to add, subtract, or whatever it might be.
So it's gonna be, when everyone sees it, it's gonna be like a small brochure that the city can pass out for people that are coming in to either sign up for service or whatever. And then it'll have a link to visit a more thorough packet that will sit on the website.
Would a trifold way be a way to do it and make better use of the? Because I know that what you've got is pretty.
That's gonna be website. So that's gonna be a very fleshed out version.
Okay.
And just the most important things are gonna be on a little brochure
Okay.
with a link or a QR code. I
Okay.
suggest we do a QR code that will take them to the place on the website for
Okay.
a more thorough
And
package.
you've got something in there, but you got to get permits on. Basically, come to City Hall for a permit, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
If there's one not needed, then.
We listed the most common ones.
Okay,
Yep.
good. And Michael's got some stuff too here a little bit. So
I think she
anyway,
gave me all your stuff. No? Lying about that? Well, I've got some stuff of yours for you. I'll send it to you then. I
Sounds
thought
good.
you had given it your blessing. Did I miss that step?
It's possible. It's
Okay.
possible.
all right, well then I'm looking for a motion.
Nothing in motion, and we're gonna wait for a draft.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So we're gonna, man, I wish we had
I guess let me ask this. Do I need to, like, if we're gonna have a little single card or trifold or whatever you wanna call it, am I sourcing, prices to have stuff printed? Are we doing this, are we doing just a sheet of paper where we're printing it ourselves and folding it ourselves? Are we gonna have color, black and white? Those are the things I need to know.
Well, we need to determine how many we need, and there's 1,400 meters. Tammy's not in there, is that right? 1,400 meters, so there's 1,400 residents right there, and that's not enough. We can't just print out 1,400.
No.
We're gonna print out a couple of thousand and have those. Why don't you source, Staples seems like a pretty good deal, and I'm sure there's other places online.
They're usually
to do that.
they're usually overpriced because it's, considered convenient.
Oh,
You should probably go to an actual printer.
okay. Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Between now and the next meeting?
Yeah.
I think we may end up having a special session not this month, I don't think, or
I think it's June or July. It's June
Yeah, I
or
think it's
July,
June.
yeah, one of them.
it is, maybe it's July. I don't see anything else. Okay, so we're moving on to 8, new business. Discussion and or action to approve or deny the replat of 1552 East Highway 276, West Tawakoni, property ID 113675 of the A0186 Carter Redmond Edition, tract 1 through 4, acres is 4.56, zone commercial, and the request is to split it into 4 lots. And that's what the plat's about. This is, to give you all a better idea, this is the property directly across the street that was EDC's property at one time, and now it's been sold, and we've been working with the owners, the engineers, and everybody else to get this replatted the way they wanted to do it. Y'all have anything? Anything from anybody?
Motion, we approve it.
Everybody all right with that?
Is there anything from,
The Planning and Zoning Committee, we had thorough discussions on it, and by replatting it into 4 pieces, it will be easier for the owner to actually get the property developed.
Yeah.
From a financing standpoint. Nothing else has changed about the plan,
Right.
and we approved it, and so the Planning and Zoning absolutely supports it.
Okay, good, good. Thank you.
with that being said,
That-
I'll second his motion.
Chris made a motion. Anyone? Oh, here he is. All in favor?
Kevin Featherston?
Leon Myers,
Jack O'Connell.
Robin Myers.
Christopher Kent.
It is unanimous. Moving on to 8B, discussion and or action to remove David Radke as a check signer for Keep Tawakoni Beautiful. We accepted his resignation back at the last city council meeting, but we didn't remove him from the check signer. And I'm sure Dwayne and Mary's down here. Is anybody else from Keep Tawakoni Beautiful? Would they? No. I'm out, so that being said, I'm thinking maybe the next meeting, they will have selected someone to fill in his place as a check signer. And I'm just guessing, I don't know. But the chair would entertain a motion on 8B.
I'll make a motion to remove Dave Radke as check signer for Keep West Tawakoni.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Jack, second. All in favor?
Kevin Featherston?
Leon Myers,
Jack O'Connell.
Robin Myers.
Christopher Kent.
We're good to go. Moving on to 8C, discuss an interaction to approve or deny the raise grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation for EDC. And I'm going to call out Pam Reed from EDC. Is she here? Yes, I thought I saw you.
Okay, first of all, this is not for EDC.
Oh,
Okay, we looked at this grant. It is a citywide grant for cities our size with our population and our type of demographics that we have. We wanted the city to take a look at it and see if they're interested and apply for it. But the good thing about this grant is that it is made specifically for this type of city for the infrastructure. So if you're looking for money for your roads, this is the grant to go to.
would interrupting you, would the roads be the only thing that the city, I don't know what all the raise goes
So
for.
you didn't look at the package?
I did, but I didn't, I'm not sure which.
Okay, so let me go through this and it'll probably explain some of the things you need to know, okay? It's specifically for infrastructure. It's processed from the U.S. Department of Transportation. The grants are awarded on a competitive basis, so we need to get in an application for this. The infrastructure projects that improve safety, environmental sustainability, quality of life, and opportunities including tourism, state of good repair, partnership, and collaboration. So in other words, anything that would fall under helping roads that would help businesses here, or roads that would help people have a better type of life, or roads that would improve our safety factors here, is what they're looking for. And it's specifically for communities who have experienced decades of underinvestment like ours. We had an application deadline for February 28th of 24, and we didn't get it on the up to, on the agendas earlier. So the next date that we can apply is for January 13th, 2025. So we need to get this going. This award will pay up to $1 million towards infrastructure.
With a 20% match, correct?
Yes, that's where I was going next. 80% of the total cost will be funded by them, 20% for us. Now, the good part about this is that if, while you are doing your planning on it, you can use your planning that you're using to do this as your 20%. So if you're hiring Jacob and Martin, like you've been talking about, what you would pay them if you get them to work out a plan for you, which you're already planning to do, that could be your 20%. And then they would pay the 80 to actually do the work. You are a unit of local government and therefore you are an eligible applicant. This project will help highways, bridges, poor infrastructure investments. It will help projects to rehabilitate the culverts, the stormwater runoff, and the roads. And any surface transportation infrastructure that they consider necessary, and that would be your public roads and your non-motorized projects if you want to have sidewalks even. In any of those things. It also, again, relates to your planning, your preparation, or design of these surfaces. You can use that as your 20%. Do you have any questions that I can answer? I know that was a huge packet I gave you.
And I read through some of it. It sounds like you may be a little bit more attuned in it because you've had more time with it.
Yeah, I've looked at it quite a bit.
But I didn't really see in there if we had to have our plan together before we actually went forth with this. But then we also, if I'm understanding correctly, we're going to have a grant writer get involved as well.
Yes.
So
I would say your best bet is to go ahead and get a grant writer, have them do the papers, work with Philip, with Jacob and Martin.
right, Jacob and Martin would be on the design side or building the plan.
And then your grant repay, like we've done in the past with grants, your grant writer would be paid from.
They always are. They're always paid out of that. But I don't remember seeing the date. The next date we said
It's January the 13th.
So January 13th.
2025.
Basically, it seems like to me what we'd have to do is we'd have to put it on our agenda
Yeah,
to,
budget.
well, but we'd also have to put it on our agenda to try to get, to get the ball rolling towards talking to a grant writer, because that's gonna be our first step. We can't do that. All grants require grant writers to handle all the paperwork going all the way through. Yes, ma'am?
Does the city know what they want to ask money to do?
No, and that's what
I
I
mean,
was,
that would,
right,
to
and that's
me,
what I was-
seem to be, you gotta brainstorm what you wanna do.
well,
before
and
the grant
that's what I was
writer
getting
writes the
at
grant.
when I said that we would have to have a plan together. And quite honestly, we don't have engineers that work for our city, right? And this is gonna have to qualify, if I read all this correctly, to qualify for this, we're gonna have to have engineering, we're gonna have to have all these plans. We can't just say, well, we want to redo some roads. They're not gonna take that as
Now,
qualification.
he does have some plans from previous.
Right, we
that
have,
we can need to-
yeah, some old studies. They're really not plans that talk about elevations and so on and so forth that would actually give real result plans.
But I can
That's a
guarantee you,
study.
if you get a grant writer, they will know what they need to do and how they need to submit it.
Yeah, and we might go back to the one that's doing it now is, the one we just got through doing, is it Sean Burton Hope? What's his
Trailer
one?
and
do?
Associates.
Trailer and Associates.
Trailer and Associates.
So I think
And
that's what
Jacob
we're,
and Martin engineered that one.
yeah, the
Yes.
first thing
Yeah.
we probably want to do is get with Trailer and Associates or somebody. I mean, it depends on what the council decides. And get with a grant writer so they can start putting their teeth into this, because they kind of give us direction, right? That way you stay within all the confines of this grant.
Are we gonna go back through the voting, to work, not the last grants that we've got?
I
We've had,
think-
had to get a committee, not a committee, but X number of people to
I think that's a
score.
requirement for every grant. if I
It
It is,
understand
and we
Yeah.
did
So
that for every single
I
grant.
guess they could bring that. to
And I would
us.
highly recommend too that you really explore your options when it comes to grant writing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
And I would, you need to develop a timeline. I mean, if it has to go in by January, back up.
Benchmarks.
And, you know, if particularly having to have approvals by the council and all that kind of thing. Even before you hire a grant writer, put together a rough timeline, working backwards,
I agree with her.
so that you can hit your targets. Because you'd know you'd have to get your grant writer by X, you know, you have to brainstorm ideas, you know, all of that kind of thing. Because you have an absolutely rock solid deadline.
And this is the last time they will offer this grant also. It's been offered for the last 2 years. And I just found out about it last year. So,
see, I feel like somebody's mentioned this. I think, I wanna say it was Jacob Martin mentioned something about this.
So there are a lot of
But the
eligibility
timelines were not gonna
requirements
fall
on
into
this.
place.
Do we meet?
we
most
meet
of
every
all?
one of them
We
so
do?
far. Every one of them I've investigated, we meet.
Our city meets the criteria for almost every single grant out there.
yeah.
We do.
And that's mainly because of LMI.
That's right.
So we just, I think we need to reach out to a grant writer. That's gonna be our first step as a city.
I got a note, from me and Kim to talk in the morning, to get hold of Wanda. And she'll give us, you know, we'll go back through the same thing. We'll come up with 3 different, grant managers, which, or administrators,
Administrators, yeah.
and help us come through with that. And then we'll do the grading system and we'll take it from there. It does take a little bit of time, but we're all right.
This is nothing new for you guys. You've done several.
Yeah, but January, we got time. I mean, we
Yeah,
got some time to do it. We just,
We've got about 7 months.
Yeah, I think
really
we
not
need
that
to
much
get
going
going.
on.
July, August,
We need-
September, October, November, because after November, you know.
You're done.
May I also suggest this too, you wanna get on it as soon as possible, because you might submit one and they may turn around and say, we need some more information.
well,
Give yourself time to have that in place also,
yeah, they're probably.
because, you know, this would be a perfect grant for our city.
Yeah, I agree, and I hopefully we get over to Wanda this week and at least start the process rolling. And this is something, you know, we're gonna have to just keep on top of. But once you turn it like Wanda, she takes the ball and runs.
That's right.
You give her one thing, and really, you don't have to ask her about anything, you know, she comes to us and gives us all the information.
That's true.
So we don't have to have it on our mind all the time, so.
It's true.
Is that all you got on that?
That's all I have on that, and I think. our
Don't
next-
step down.
I think our next thing is, I'd like to, introduce Mr. Leonard O'Shea,
Well, we need.
and to
Yeah,
come
we
up
gotta
and,
do that.
and,
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
Sorry, say that again, Pam.
Leonard O'Shea.
Sorry.
He is with Vox Technologies, and they are a company out of Richardson. They are planning on moving here. They have bought property and are
Okay.
starting that
Here's
process.
this-
Real quick, let's close out AC and, discussion or interaction. But hold your thoughts, just for a minute. I need a motion on 8C about the raise grant.
So I'd like to make a motion that, the mayor has discussion with Kim to start the process to get us in the goings on with the grant writer on this raise grant. And I would like to see this be on our next month's agenda
Yeah, me
for
too.
some sort of discussion and or take action.
Yeah, maybe Wanda could come up here. Okay.
I'll second.
Judge, second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston?
Leon Myers,
Jack O'Connell.
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
It is unanimous.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, picking up on 8D where you left
Okay.
off.
So I'd like to introduce Leonard O'Shea. He is with Vox Technologies, who is moving here. They've been in Richardson. They have an average revenue of 5.6 billion, and they're
Billion or million?
I'm gonna say billion because I received that, yeah, but it's million.
Okay.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for having me. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity to be here. Quick story I want to share. I was actually on a fishing charter with my father, who founded the company and raised us in the company, because of course it was free labor back then before they had all the laws against it. And I was on a fishing charter on Lake Louisville. Good buddy of mine just kind of takes us out there, shows us all the nice spots. And we were catching some nice hybrids and bass. And the guy tells me, he says, his name's Alex. Alex said, if you're having a good time now, I gotta take you out to Tawakoni. No lie, that's what he told me. That's what I said, yeah, definitely. And so I said, really? I said, tell me about Tawakoni. You know, I've heard of the place. And just wanted to see what he said. And he says, man, he says, you're out there and you're fishing. He says, man, I promise you, the bass are like this, the striper, and then the catfish. And I said, I heard it's the catfish capital. He said, man, you haven't seen anything like that until you've been catfish fishing out in Tawakoni. So that was it was a pleasant conversation to have, you know, on Sundays, or spend time with my dad. We often don't get a break, but just leading into knowing that this Tuesday meeting was coming, it's like, you know what, that's definitely a positive leading in. So he says he doesn't know why the fish are that big, but he says they're big. So, and he said he'll bring me out there and go fishing. So
I think the record was set last year at 98 pounds.
Really?
From a rock. 98 pounds.
Is that the one that the kid that weighed 50 pounds pulled out?
No. That, like the Newling record, I think is 85, maybe 88. And the fishing pole is 88 pounds, flathead.
The Blue Cat tournament that was the first weekend in January, I think the big fish was 72 pounds, and it was a father-daughter team that
Really?
won that tournament.
That's awesome. That is. Well, just to let you know, I am a avid fisherman, and so I'm really excited about being here. We're in the process of trying to find a property for my father. He wants to relocate, get out of the city.
Yeah,
He says he's had enough and he has his eye on Tawakoni. So definitely looking to expand our footprint. But again, thank you for having us. As Pam said, Vox Technologies, we've officially been in business as Vox Technologies since 1997. In a nutshell, we specialize in computers that protect people. And so if any of you retired military, ever been on an aircraft carrier, then you'll find one of our computers. You ever been on a fighter jet, control the oxygen intake and outtake on fighter jets. We have systems for that. Every U.S. submarine has a proprietary system that my father and I designed and built. We actually beat IBM out for the contract, so we're kind of proud about that. But we've been doing what we've been doing for a while, and we're pretty good at it. But Richardson is a wonderful city, but the 15,000 square foot warehouse that we have, we're busting out at the seams, and we just need to expand. Also, the city of Richardson, a couple other cities that we attempted to work with, they really didn't work with us as well for what we needed. And so we realized that it was time for us to buy land and just kind of build from scratch. So we're really excited about the opportunity that are coming here. It wouldn't be right for me to not to acknowledge Mr. James Chemp and Mrs. Pam Reed. They were very instrumental. I had an opportunity to kind of meet them early on, and everything I needed. Mr. Chemp was very gracious and patient with me, and kind of worked with us through that process. So I just wanted to say, openly thank you and honor you for that. Pam Reed just staying on me to say, hey, how's everything going? And both of them had everything to speak highly about the people in the city. I've had a chance to meet some of you as of recent too. So, but ultimately our plan is to relocate our warehouse from Richardson out on the piece of property we just purchased. Really outside of the warehousing, we're not necessarily big into commercial real estate. We do some residential But so commercial is kind of a new thing for us, so we'll be looking for some guidance along the way of kind of how to go about doing that. But what we're really excited outside of bringing the warehouse here, and relocating, and most of our people stay not too far from here, Greenville, some stay in Rockwall, so the drive is actually very convenient.
From where you're at now, they're driving from those cities to Richardson.
To Richardson, yeah, and so they're excited because they said that this would be a little easier drive for them, so it just so happened to work out. We're also excited because we need to hire more people. And so our commitment is to bring anywhere from 10 to 20 jobs over the next 24 months. And so we're really excited about that. I know that number sounds a bit aggressive, but for the manufacturing piece of what we need, we're confident that we'll be able to fulfill that commitment.
So what'll be your total, just estimated, what do you anticipate your total labor force to be?
Including what we currently have.
Including
So
what
we have
you
50
got.
employees right now.
50?
Yeah, so we should grow to about 75 once everything
Okay.
is complete.
And how, you mentioned 15,000 square foot in Richardson?
Yes, 15,000
And
square feet.
so
in
what are
Richardson.
you looking at here?
Probably a minimum of doubling that, 30,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that gonna hold you for a while?
Yeah,
Or do
30,
you have room to expand?
well, we, in Richardson, we're
No,
close-
here.
Oh, yeah, no, we,
Not
there's,
there.
we want to start off, we don't want to build too much and then we not have enough space.
Right.
We're considering, while we're, again, this is, we just finished the acquisition in February, so we're trying to really wrap our head around it. We talked about anywhere from 30 to 50,000. For me, I would prefer to start off a little bit more conservative, just because I know what it is that we need. 20,000 is probably would get us where we need to go. And then the extra 10 is some few manufacturing things we want to start bringing online, manufacturing airplane parts using 3D printers. And so that's where the jobs will come into play. So 30,000 I feel comfortable with, but I think by the time we really get to running full capacity, that flex space that we plan on building would eventually be able to expand to about 50. And 50 should hold us over, but there's still a lot of land to do so much with. We haven't quite figured all of it out, but one of the things that we're doing a good job at is we work with Richardson Independent School District. There's a internship that we have with them, and it gives the computer science students a real life application of coming in, working with computers, working with software, and we want to be able to expand that out here to Tawakoni. But not only that, as we understand, is that Tawakoni does have a rich history of farming, being that we do have part of that land that we need to work with, of course, the SRA. I've kind of had some preliminary talks with them, is that we want to be able to bring a garden. So combine agriculture with technology, and so that we can kind of keep that history of farming, also using the lake and kind of bring that technology into place. Focus on like vertical farming, a lot of things that they're teaching in the urban areas, so kids don't get away from like their roots, you know?
Exactly.
So we're excited about that. I've already talked with the two administrators at Richardson ISD. They've already agreed to come out and kind of help us work with the current school district here to get that program implemented so that students can, you know, if they want to go and get into some type of technology, whether that be AI or machine learning, or they want to get into agriculture or bring the two together, or even if they want to be a marine biologist, we want to be able to bring that. That's what we're really excited about as a community involvement.
I don't know what Texas A&M offers as far as degree programs, and they may or may not be suitable to what you're talking about. I just don't know what they have.
The AgriLife Center is right there in Richardson,
Oh.
and then UTD is right
Yeah,
there too.
UTD. That's
okay,
UTD
okay.
has a really nice
Okay,
campus.
okay.
So we're currently doing at one of my the church that I attend in Little Elm, Texas. We have a 3-acre garden there that has the vertical farming, and we're currently also doing some things in the community, and students can come out. And so we're just looking to mesh the technology and agriculture, bring our business here, create the jobs, and just see what else is out there. So we're really excited about the opportunity. Thank you for having us and welcoming us, and just that's about it.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Good deal.
What do you think y'all's projection would be for breaking ground here?
We anticipated being sometime this year, but not sure exactly. don't know exactly when. We just started working with a development company that's helping us kind of put together a model of what it is that we would potentially want to do on the land. Again, it's a lot of land, and we were just looking for a place to put a warehouse. And so kind of keeping in mind, I've thrown a couple things out at some previous meetings. And so we'll just put together a plan, kind of chat with the city, see what really works best. I did ask the question, and I'll ask you here. You don't have to necessarily answer it here, but we are interested to see what it is that the city needs and how we could potentially partner and be able to provide that. We do have, potential investors, as you had mentioned about that. The city does have qualify for a lot of grants. There's certain technological things that we could help facilitate and bring to the city. So I think that's a discussion that we're open to have. Right now, I can speak to what I know I'm good at or what I know I'm great at, and the other things I partner with everyone else, and I inherit the capabilities and strengths of my partners. So,
how many acres do you? I know it's kind of part of it's
SRA.
The SRA.
So
And
it's
how many
22
acres are you taking the lease back to?
for the SRA?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay.
so it's 22 acres is what we're focusing on as far as building on. And then there's 44 acres that we lease from
But the
SRA.
22 would be your acres, not.
Correct.
That butts up to the SRA. And
Correct.
there's about double that. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, do you have any other warehouses in the area, or will this just be the only one? And will this be your headquarters?
This is, we're gonna be, I don't know, what did you call it again? So I said it wrong. We're relocating to Tawakoni.
Okay, everything's gonna be.
Everything's gonna be here. My father will actually be a resident of West Tawakoni. We're moving everything that we have, we're consolidating. To answer your question, though, we do have another warehouse in Grand Prairie. We have some inventory and a repair office out of New Jersey. We're actually a global company. So we do have some things kind of located, scattered, but we plan to bring everything under one roof and just run it right out of here. And that's why we're going to be able to grow and make those hires. So
You a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, that's why when you ask me the question, I'm like,
it's gonna be a rough year for you.
Yeah, well, you know how life goes, right? You have business and you hope that all the rest of the stuff just slows down. But it doesn't.
I'll try not to ask too many questions.
No gain.
Do what?
I said, I'll try not to ask too many. So now, currently, you've got a 15,000 square foot warehouse that's in Richardson. And I looked the area up, it's pretty much in the city. So it's city streets. I mean, we've got somewhat of a highway here, and this highway will be, before we all know, it'll be 4 lanes. They're already doing some surveying. We've all seen that. So logistics versus logistics and trucks, what would you say your truck count a day is in and out maybe? I mean, do y'all do much shipping in and out? Or
Yeah, but it's just UPS, FedEx, they're box trucks and DHL. We've already checked with them before we even purchased
Okay,
the
no
land.
semis, nothing.
No, rarely. We'll probably
Raw
initially
materials.
when we move, but
Yeah.
most of what we're going to be able to do is going to be on box trucks. We already kind of have this plan. It's not going to be semis coming in and out. It's just a UPS, FedEx.
I mean, if they are, that's fine. I was asking so people would know what to expect. But
yeah, it's just
okay.
box trucks.
and you said you have 50 employees now, right? And now that's probably not all in Richardson.
No.
New Jersey and all that stuff
Yeah.
going on. But so your employees now, you think they will all actually commute to here? I mean, is it gonna how will that affect those employees?
Yeah, well, we've already had a talk with them. Everyone says they're okay with the commute. Again, we have Blue Ridge, Greenville, Rockwall, Mesquite. Everyone said that.
So it's an easier drive.
Yeah, it's an easier drive for them. So it's
Away from traffic.
You're doing them a favor.
That's what they said. So that's like, hey,
They're coming up against traffic.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't have anybody really north of you. Everybody that's working for you is either it sounds like maybe south or east of you. So you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Not having to drive on 75.
Oh, trust me, I
Through
know.
Dallas and
I deal
Richardson, not
with it.
having to drive.
Yeah, I deal with it frequently, and it don't matter the little toll thing don't help either.
Yeah.
As much as everybody says, oh yeah, get a toll tag. Well, I did that. I resisted it for a long time. Well, what did that didn't do nothing for me. It cost me more money.
Yeah, so it is. It just so happened, it's by God's grace, it's all working out for us. So again, we're really excited about the opportunity. Our employees are really excited. We have tenured employees that have been with us for 12 years.
Beautiful.
And so they're, one of the guys, his dad actually stays down this side road.
Tomahawk.
When we were in the meeting, he said it.
Vansville.
His dad's last name is Danik. He's a retired vet. Sometimes he hangs over at the VFW. So, anyways, he was just like, yeah, I think I might just come move with my dad. And people are talking about coming out and buying property. So it really is. It's an exciting time. We're very grateful for the opportunity. It is a lot of heavy lifting that will be required from us this year, but I mean, you don't get to 27 years by being weak, so
Absolutely.
we're ready for it.
It's a great story. Now, you have Michael's number, our public works director,
Yep.
and Shannon's information.
Yep.
Get with them if you need anything.
Okay.
I mean, this is awesome. I appreciate you coming out and
Yeah,
sharing the
yeah.
story with us.
I
And
think we all do,
we
yeah.
look forward to it. We'll be looking for something at the end of the year. We'll do a ribbon cutting for you.
There you go.
Whatever you
There you
want.
go.
What was your name again?
Leonard O'Shody.
Leonard, okay. I don't remember the Leonard, but O'Shody.
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 Yeah, Oshodi.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually pronounced it well, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, because I've been living my life, nobody gets mine right.
How do you pronounce it?
Turnip seed.
Turnip seed. I would have butchered that actually. I was over there practicing. I said, I think I'm gonna mess this one up. I'm pretty sure Mr. Mayor is a safe place. Well, thank you again for having us.
Yeah,
We really
yeah.
look forward to what
Thank
the
you
future
for
holds.
coming. We look forward to it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What? You see all right?
I said that's a tough act to
Oh,
follow on that.
Okay, moving on. I wanted, it's been a little while, maybe a few months, I don't know. But we have a lot going in public works. We've just finished off one grant that I guess we pretty much used the whole year of 23, did we not? I mean, from start to finish. Did we start in 22 or is 23?
It didn't even get started because we had such back order of parts.
Oh,
You
well,
talking about the upgrade?
yeah,
the
yeah.
upgrade.
We waited almost 10 months just for the parts.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't wanted Michael to kind of update us because we are basically finished with the upgrades and the expenditures that we did to upgrade the water plant for now. But as Michael will get into, we're sitting on another 435,000.
450. 450. No, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you do it. That's your
436.
forte, and there's no sense in me explaining it.
Well,
I
I want to,
understand it, but you're the one living it.
before I get into that part of it, I just wanted to touch on just some basic things which you guys got in your council packet. We have recently hired 2 people to fill the 2 empty positions that we had. One of which will be bringing some very valuable tools to the table for the city. Morgan just completed her basic water class, so now, with the exception of one employee, everyone is ready to test, everyone. So, met with Jacob and Martin to discuss the plans and upcoming tasks for the new CDBG. We walked it, we discussed it, we argued about it, and then we came up with a plan to get that started. My initial thought was the project, this new CDBG, would be started by summer. And from what I just found out, it's going to be closer to the end of the year, if not the first of the year before it started, just because of all the ribbons and tape we have to go through to get the money and all that. So anyways, so I had a discussion with a TCEQ inspector and talked about doing tours of the plant. And I'm sure some of you are aware, but maybe there are some who are not. We are at a level red terroristic threat in the state of Texas right now for water, sewer, utilities, and electric. We have recently been attacked by foreign entities. Houston was one. There were several other cities that were attacked and completely brought down their water plant. So it's a pretty scary time right now. So with that being said, I was seeking advice and wisdom on how to approach this. And the advice I was given is to keep the group small, keep it to elected officials, and make sure that it's manageable, meaning, they don't want to see an operator giving a tour to more than 3 or 4 or 5 people at a time. So if I were to give you guys a tour of the plant, as long as I had another operator there, then I could see everyone at the same time. Of course, we would have to post a potential quorum, but I could show you guys everything physically that's going on in the plant. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there so that way we could discuss on.
I think it's also important for you, when you're doing that, to show them from start to finish.
Absolutely.
The head work, the raw water intake, the head works, and what that process is going into it. Then the people will have a better idea of exactly how this works. I mean, it goes all the way to the water plant. It's used. It goes to the sewer plant. Once it's cleaned, the water actually goes back into the lake.
It does.
We clean the water so well that it goes back into the lake, and it's totally safe.
Well, the state law is you have to put it back better than what you take it out. So it's definitely a physical, daunting task to go from beginning to end. There's a lot of uphill, downhill, and there's a lot of pretty steep stairs.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing process to be able to see the whole process, how it really works. Kevin's been able to be a part of that for quite some time. And I would even be willing to say that he probably knows the process just as well as I do. So with that being said, I think it would be good for all of you to experience that process. Let's see. So we have recently began our seasonal road work. And obviously this time of year, we start with rock. Now, there have been some complaints about some of the material that has been found in the rock, and we have contacted the plant and had some tough words and talked about the material that we're getting. And I'll use one road, for example, Raintree. Raintree, that's a pretty rough road. And so we ordered some material for that road, and when the material was laid on the road, well, it wasn't even that. The material just was not good material. So we had to we stopped getting any more of that material for the time being, which is why the road was not completed. But we are going back to Raintree, and we are going to finish that road. We didn't want any more of that bad material. It's reclaimed asphalt, and the problem we were having is it was chunky. It wasn't consistent. It didn't want to bond. And when you use reclaimed asphalt, it works great if the material is consistent. And it wasn't consistent. So anyways, just so that everyone is aware, we have begun rock roads, and we have begun working on ditches and drainage. So that's what's going on now. I do plan to meet with the HOA presidents here very soon to discuss summertime for, Indian Oaks, Arrowhead, different HOAs where we can go in and actually put down material that it needs to be 100 degrees, almost 100 degrees outside for it to actually work right. That's one of the issues we ran into with Mays Lane last year, is we tried to lay the material a little early. And the problem is it wasn't hot enough. So the material didn't bond correctly, which is why the road looks the way it does. But we will repair that this year.
Isn't it 79 or 80 degrees? What is it?
Well, the material comes to us when it leaves the plant, it's 800 degrees. By the time it makes it to us, if it's 80 degrees or hotter, it'll usually be about 700 degrees when we get it. The problem with last year is by the time it got to us, it was about 400 degrees. And by the time we started laying the material, you could walk up and just touch it with your bare hand. So that's not good. So anyways, so roads have begun. Ditch work has begun. Let me move over here. So to address some of the items that are on the P&L, which are items that we have talked about for the past few years. I'll start with septic dumping. So when I first started digging into this particular topic, I started learning that there's a lot more to it than just taking trucks. It doesn't work that way. First and foremost, your process has to be almost 100% for the state to even consider you. So right now, we have a couple issues, one of which is at our headworks, and the other one would be a secondary clarifier. Now, we have taken steps to address those things, but they're not completed. So with that being said, the two issues would have to be completed, then the state would have to come out and do an assessment of our plant. The other issue that we have, right now, the daily average, we're at about 45 to 48% capacity, but during a high flow event, a heavy rain event, which they had projected 8 inches of rain over 4 days this week, a high flow event puts us at almost 70%. So then if we were to get granted the permit during a high flow event, we would not be able to take any trucks. So these are all things that have to be considered and talked about. So I think it would be great for the city. I just think we're still a couple of years out before we're at a place where we can apply for that permit. So we had dropped that down on the P&L from 20,000 to 5,000. I think that's something that we need to address at some point. The auction items. So, everyone's well aware we have a very aging fleet. We have several trucks that need to be auctioned. Big tanker truck. We now have a lawnmower and some additional accessories that need to be auctioned. We are planning on pulling the permit or the titles this week. Hopefully by the first of next week, we can contact the auctioneer company and see if we can't get this resolved, because we need some trucks. So, all right, so moving on to the grant. So the ARPA grant, which was the federal government grant that we got, it covered our SCADA and our actuators, which actually control all the valves inside of the plant. Now, this grant was not for the entire process. It was for a small portion of the process. So, for instance, we had air actuators, which air controlled the valves opening and closing. After many, many years of having issues with that, we decided to go with electric. So that was part of the grant. So now they're all electric. It's all computerized. And then, of course, the SCADA part. So before this grant, we were almost 100% manual operation. This has now got us to about 75, 80% fully automated. So in this grant, the SCADA is now 100% complete. All the valves and actuators are complete. Everything is complete, except we are waiting for one more item, which is the filter media, which that's ordered. And that's something that we had talked about. It's on the way, but it is going to cost about $10,000 per filter.
I thought that's going to go in the next.
No, unfortunately, it's got to go in this one, which will wrap up the inside of the plant.
So is that part of that 72,000? That what was that? The water board?
That's a whole.
Yeah, that's completely different. This was a part of the 350 or those 350, right? 256.
Yeah.
So, everyone got a little piece of it, but water got the bulk of it.
Right.
But this has made us a lot more efficient, and I wanted to show you guys something.
I think it's plugged into the TV, wasn't it?
No, I didn't bring the cable for that. So for many, many years, if there was a crisis at the plant, I had to get there as quickly as possible. I now have it on a tablet. So when there is a crisis, it's identical to the plant. So if there's a crisis at the plant, I can be at home watching the news, sitting in my recliner. I get an alert, or go on here, and I can solve any issue inside the plant right now. I can't tell you how much overtime that's going to save. So that's a pretty big deal for us, being automated in that way. With the new grant, it's going to bring filter 4, the CDBG. We'll bring filter 4 online. We've been operating on 3 filters for 15 years. This will bring number 4. Well, before that, there was 1 filter in the old one. But The new CDBG will bring Filter 4 online, media, valves, SCADA, everything. With that, that now brings our city to 2.2 million potential a day of water. So just so everyone's aware, right now we average about 150 to 220,000 gallons a day. So that, just to let you know, we're in good shape as far as production. It'll also give us 2 new Headworks pumps. It'll fix our intake out in the lake, which is kind of dangerous right now. For some reason, a lot of people like to pull their kayaks and jet skis and wave runners up to it and try to jump off of it. And flip our signs around, things like that, which is really dangerous because there's T-posts under the water that they don't know.
They give us 2 1,000 pumps out at the
Headworks.
intake.
At the Headworks.
At the Headworks.
Now, as far as the intake itself, they're looking at it right now because it was part of this new grant. The intake had emergency pumps on it. So I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was 2012, 2013 when the lake dropped 18.67 feet. It was pretty scary. There was no water at the park. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure you guys do. So we had to roll the pump out there and try to pump it all the way back up to the Headworks because the 2 pumps that were at the intake didn't work. So that's also a part of it. So in an emergency situation, it would be able to pump water from the old Caddo Creek up to the well.
But so the intake's got to have, the intake's got to have 1,000 gallon.
No, those are only 600 gallons a minute. There's 2.
But we got to have.
So there's 1,200 gallons a minute.
At the Headworks.
At the Headworks, it's 2 1,000, yes.
Yeah, that's our normal operation pumps, but these are emergency backup pumps.
Yes.
So just so everybody knows, the intake is what's out in the lake. There's a pipe buried down in there that the water comes in and it comes up just on the shoreline. There's another thing that we call Headworks. That water comes into there and it's not, it's not clean water. It's still got to go through the plant. But so there's debris and stuff. We have to pump it out a couple of times a year. We have to pump all that stuff out. But that's where the water goes from there, using the 1,000 gallon pumps each, is 2 of them for redundancies. And then the actual cleaning the water and sending it out to the residents starts. That's where.
Well, that's the awesome part. That's the fun part.
Well, it's just so everybody knows what an intake and a Headworks, and we're using terminology that there's a lot of people may not know what that is.
I have a question. So if we're gonna be able to produce or intake more water, are we gonna need more ground and tower storage in the future?
We will.
We will?
Mm-hmm.
Is that looking, how far out will that be?
Well, that's definitely something we would discuss in a different setting, but we're probably within a 10-year period.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we're good?
We can go.
For now, we
are.
I see us seeing something about that in our plan, in our comprehensive plan
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
that we all voted on. I think we're gonna, when we get that plan back, I bet you when we look at it, it's gonna talk about added water and.
Well, it's even in the 2011 study. They had predicted by 2020 that our elevated storage at the city park, which only holds 75,000, it was supposed to hold 200,000. So that means the tower would be replaced. The south elevated storage holds 125,000. It's supposed to hold 225,000. Now that's what they projected by 2020, and here we are. So
we're still doing okay.
We're still doing okay.
Yeah, that put us in a bind, yeah.
But to finish the CDBG, so it's bringing Filter 4 online with SCADA, Headworks, all the things that are outside, such as elevated storage, ground storage, sludge tank, anything that is outdoors that I need to see will be brought inside. So it'll also, so I'll be able to see elevated storage from home. I'll see what level it's at. So we have a major leak, I can open and close valves with this thing. So that's amazing. It saves a lot of time. We also are having to rehab the south ground storage tank again. That's part of this. But when all this is done after this grant, the water plant is 100% self-sufficient. So by the end of next year.
And for clarification's sake, this is all grant money that we've already been awarded or received.
Yes.
No, we're not talking about future grants.
Yeah, no, this is
Okay.
this is already awarded.
The one we just haven't started yet. We've got it, we've been awarded the grant, but we
Yes.
haven't actually started the process.
We have to go through all the paperwork now, which takes anywhere from 90 days to 120 days. So everything gets verified, through the state.
Now, did I dream that we had a conversation with somebody about sewer plant, a grant in the horizon? for
You
sewer?
did not dream about that,
Okay.
but that's still in the works.
Other than
Just making sure, I was like, okay, I know there's been a conversation.
I try not to talk about the grants that are in the works because
No, I
we're not
know,
done.
and it's okay for us to talk about it, I think, it just keeps people excited, so.
Well, that's my whole reason for that is so that everybody has a better idea. And we probably ought to be doing this more often, just so everybody that hasn't spent a lot of time with the water plant and with Public Works can better understand.
Well, and by the way, I would be willing to meet with all of, I know all of you work here in the week, so I'd be willing to meet with you on a Saturday if that would work with you guys that way. Because I would like for all of you to see
Yeah,
it.
it's no more than a 5-hour tour.
I don't know if I can do 5 hours.
I think it's a Dylan Silent show.
I think we could
That's
get
what
an
I
hour
got,
out of
the
it.
SS up. But I mean, we don't want to talk about it too much because it might get watered down.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns, or anything
Yeah,
on
please.
8E? If not, the chair would.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. No other comments, questions, concerns on the Public Works update? If you've got any other questions that come up after the meeting, between the next meeting or whatever, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call. Somebody will get you an answer and we'll have a better understanding. Moving, I need a motion on the table for 8E. Yeah, I guess.
There's
really nothing to approve, really.
Yeah, true. We can, no action.
You got a question?
I was just thinking, we didn't tell the people that we sucked the water out of the north side of the lake and we put it back in on the south side.
Yeah, it's kind of not fair. That's true. It's kind of not fair.
I kind of said that.
It's kind of not fair. We have the shallow side of the lake. We're
Yeah.
giving the full side of the lake.
Yeah.
So we don't spit it right back out the side.
Right. No, it doesn't. Oh, yes. Now I know why you said that.
Don't drink the water in Will's Point.
Probably not.
Okay, Chief, you're up.
It's a different beast.
This water tastes familiar.
Okay, so we're good to go. Let's move on to 8F, discussion interaction to approve the police department update on auction items, impound yard, flock safety cameras, and a review on, for lack of better terms, I said war on drugs. I don't know what we call it. I know that the police department has made some huge strides. Some of you may disagree. I will argue the fact that we don't have the serious issue that we've been having for the last year. We don't have as many walkers. We don't have all the stuff going around. There has been major drug bust, and I chose with the chief. I don't want to know all that. It's none of my business. It doesn't need to be shared with me. These are things that are, not top secret, but basically they are. They're not something that he can discuss with anybody because it could jeopardize something they've got in the works. But I can tell you, things have dropped off in this city, and I hope everyone's noticed that.
A lot of business owners have too.
Say what?
The business owners have noticed a lot of it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Hardly any shoplifters, and nobody waits around outside in front of their
On the
stores.
flip side, Billy's Billy's has seen a decrease in their revenue because there's no one really staying at, Wagon. There are some people, like workers that are, working on the down off of Hillcrest. I think they might, I don't know where they're staying, but they may be staying there, but all those druggies and all that, there's some still there. It takes time, but the biggest majority of them are not in this city anymore. Do you have anything you'd like to add, kind of make us feel good about?
You stole all his thunder.
No, he's got a lot. He's got a lot.
On the impound, we're trying to wait till it dries up with all the rain and stuff that's going on. It's just, there's no way we can, we can make a mud pit back there, but that's about it. So we're gonna have to wait till it dries up. So, and on the flock camera system that we have, thanks to the EDC and James Chim for helping with the finances for the flock cameras.
The flock cameras, LPRs?
Yeah, the LPR flock.
I haven't heard of the flock. I haven't heard of that.
Well, that's the company name.
Okay.
The programming.
Okay.
On the second day after the installation, we got a stolen car. And since then, how long have we had them?
3 weeks now.
Yeah.
More than that.
Oh, yeah, only a couple of weeks. We just.
Yeah, they just got online probably a couple of weeks, and we've got a stolen U-Haul. So we've gotten 2 stolen vehicles and a stolen U-Haul so far from the flock cameras.
Nice.
What was in the U-Haul?
A whole bunch of junk was stacked over there by Penny Mart now.
Oh, I saw that.
You should have told me if I tell you that's cute.
Huh?
What?
You didn't make fun. You should have said, well, if I tell you that's cute. We're talking about top secret stuff.
And we don't call it the war on drugs anymore. Drug-free safe city is one of my
Well, I
plan
say,
is that I set out to do this.
what would you call it?
Drug-free safe city.
It sounded like the other one was easier to say.
Yeah, but that's so 80s. We should be wearing black BDUs.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and our efforts within the last year.
What?
In our drug efforts in the last year on this, we targeted a lot of the large suppliers that were supplying the city. Is why it's dried up in here. So, on one, after a month investigation, we did a raid on Navajo Trail on a house, seized over 6 ounces of meth and made 2 arrests. And then after a 2-month investigation, we investigated in a large amount of meth and stolen handguns. So there was a short pursuit of the suspect, and we were able to get the 8 ounces of meth and a stolen handgun and 1 arrest out.
Did you take one?
What?
Did you take one?
No, he stayed in the car. He had a little, with a stolen gun and a handgun in possession, he wasn't about to get out of the car.
But is 8 ounces take it to a whole different punishment level?
Yeah, anything over 400 grams is 99 to life in prison. In most of our
Over
cases,
99 grams?
400 grams.
Oh, 400 grams.
Yeah, over 400 grams is 99 to life. So, in most of our
That's
cases.
14 ounces is what it is.
So, and then on after a 4-month investigation, this guy's been eluding, and we were able to get information, and after a short pursuit, after he shot several rounds at Paul there, and we was able to corner him and a 3-hour standoff, we was able to take him into custody and got 14 ounces of meth, and a handgun, and 1 arrest out of that. So over it all, we've had 28 narcotics arrests for the year of 2023. So in all of the meth that we've seized has been over 3 pounds of meth. So, and the impact it's made, like we were talking about, is with, I talked to the owners of Billy's down there. He says that it's a good thing because he has less shoplifting. He don't have to watch his customers and stuff. And the revenue that he's losing is making up for the revenue that he was losing by theft. And with all them people hanging out there, trying to bum money off the customers and stuff, customers weren't wanting to stop. He's getting more customers now that are seeing the people not standing out in front. And so he's getting more paying customers than the loitering customers. So.
We see a lot of change too, you know?
You do?
Yeah.
Good.
We have people come in there just to take a shower and all that stuff. And we have somebody in the woods living there. I don't see those people anymore.
Yeah, we tried.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, we had progress. We had one officer go back to another department, had problems with one officer that had to let go. So right now it's just me and him, and we're still. Right now we've got 2 narcotics investigations going. It's been ongoing, and we're still working on them. So.
And if I want to expound on that too. When I first came on, we lost the police department. At some point, John came along, and during this time, I just come in as mayor, and I had a lady call me, says she was with the DA's office and wanted me to share a bunch of information that I wasn't going to share because I don't even know who the woman is. So I go up to the DA's office. It was legit. I'm not going to go into detail of what they wanted, but basically, the previous police and police chief had been here 10 years. And whenever they left, there was not one case pending at the DA, not one. As a matter of fact, the DA, prior to John and Paul setting this up the professional way, the DA wouldn't even take a case from the city. For 10 years, they would not even accept a case. So they might have been going out there and busting somebody with drugs, but there's no case, so they just released them out. So, I mean, I want you to know what they've done, because the DA is using us as a model city because they take everything we give them. And that's a lot of that's because of Paul, the reports that he does, he makes damn sure every I's dotted, every T is crossed, and they're taking everything we give them. And I was really ashamed that after 10 years, I go up there and I talked to Noby, the district attorney, and I said, how many cases pending do we have? You don't have any. 10 years and there's no pending cases. I mean, so I really want to praise John and Paul and the other officers that have already left here. I got a feeling one of them will be back when things don't go his way. One of them won't be back. He will not be back under any circumstances. But I think John's already made that clear. We won't go into that. But moving along.
Something I want to say too is that something that we never saw until the last 2 years was a presence in this city of police officers. You guys, I've seen you twice this week going up and down Rabbit Cove Road. You know, I see you out at the park sometimes. You know, that is a deterrent, if nothing else, to, you know, the element that could come here and say, hey, we can go to West Tawakoni and get by with anything. Well, they can't now.
No.
So, and it's just because y'all are out and you're patrolling and you're doing, you know, you're keeping us safe.
Can I add something too? Not to shine on you any, Chief, but even the park is
Yes.
a lot safer now than it's been in previous years. Usually by this time of year, springtime going into summer, we're chasing off all the homeless camps out on the point. We haven't had one yet. And last year, John was hot after it. So thank you, sir.
You got anything else?
I've got
John,
something.
yes, ma'am, Sharon, I'm sorry.
I've been a business owner here since '97, and for many years, calling the police department here was a pretty pointless activity
Yes,
to
ma'am.
get someone to
Yes, ma'am.
respond,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate it's changed. I don't have to call you very often, thank goodness, knock on wood, but when I do, you guys know.
And
John,
a lot of people
appreciate
that if they do have any problem getting a hold of us or anything, call the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department will dispatch us, will call us on the phones, because a lot of times we're not in the office. So we can ride around in the neighborhoods and we don't have nobody answering the phones inside, so sheriff's department dispatches us, so just call up the sheriff's department and they'll get a hold of one of us.
John, Paul, I really appreciate what y'all done. Y'all made tremendous strides. Going back to Michael, you're in the same boat. We've made big strides. We're moving in the right direction. I just wish things could happen quicker, but it just doesn't. It's just what we have to live with, I guess. Anybody else got anything on that?
Good job.
Is there
I
anybody
think that
else?
was combined for both of y'all. Since the mayor brought y'all both together.
Well, those are our two big departments that are out. I mean, people see their work, they see they're working and everything else. The citizens need updates on what's going on. They don't need to be left in the blind. All right, that was just it's an action item, but it's not, no action taken on 8F. Moving on to 8G, which is discussion interaction to approve or deny the scheduling of a park committee workshop. Jack O'Connell. We've got all the info. Now you've got all the applications. Have you touched base with any of them?
Yeah,
So you got something lined up.
Yeah. Background checks were done. I've already set the first meeting, which is this Saturday, the 13th at 10 o'clock. And all the volunteers are still all in and they've already confirmed with me.
Good. This month, probably the first month or year in the last 2 or 3, we actually had some revenue in the park.
Yes. Yes.
So hopefully we can turn that around as well.
I look forward to working with the committee too. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm excited about
So
it.
on the park committee, Mayor, with the meeting is gonna be at 10 a.m. I know most all of our other committees, like EDC, I don't know if Keep West Talking Beautiful, do they all have to have their meetings? Do we have to have like an ordinance for their time? Lee, can you tell me? I mean, I know, I think EDC there's one for EDC, there's one for the council, like an ordinance where our time for the meeting, it's like a city.
But this isn't really it's not an EDC.
We don't have to do that for them, right?
It's just
So I don't think I know what you're at, an ordinance for their time.
well, like, for instance, our city council meeting, our official by an ordinance or resolution, our meetings start at 7. If they start at 6:30, it's a special session. If it starts at 7:30, it's a special session. So what he's asking, and I think I asked you earlier last week, and I didn't get a call back from you because I was wondering about that CSWR, that Central States Water, coming in. I needed to know whether that should just be a workshop because there's going to be open dialogue rather than a formal agenda. It'll just be more of a workshop. I just want to get your permission on that. But what he's asking is I think the park board will be the only, it's an event coordinator board. It's not a committee. It's not a board. It's a group of people that collectively want to see events and things happening in our park and in our city. Does it?
Yeah, and they aren't controlling money in the same way that like the EDC is.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's gonna be necessary. I think what they'll end up doing is they'll set for themselves, kind of like a regular schedule, but that it's not the hard and fast rules where you've got to either by, like what you said, Mayor, is by ordinance change your times or set it regularly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that question to make sure we didn't get any trouble down the road.
Could I piggyback a question on that?
Yes, ma'am.
In the last planning and zoning meeting, we would like to, because for the convenience of the committee, to change our times during the spring and summer to meet later than 6 o'clock. Do we have
Well,
to have
you'll
an
have to-
ordinance
Is it a
change
resolution
for
or
that?
an ordinance that states that? I forget. She's wanting to change the time, they're set at 7, no, 6,
Six.
which is, sometimes a little early for somebody that
Well,
works coming out of the down.
Some of the people on the committee, me, one of them, I'm in a recreation focused business and it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
busy season and it'd be
Yeah.
nice if we could have it at 7:30 rather than at 6.
Shannon, is that something
Yeah,
you can draw up?
I can draw it up, it's.
Just be the same
Question, 'cause I didn't
verbiage
know the answer to
other
that
than the
either.
time.
Well, we can address them.
And we wanna then flip it back in the winter to the regular time, so we all of our meetings get announced and posted on the website, so it's not like we would be,
Yeah.
the public would not
So
know.
they wanna do it
Well, you
at
still have to
one
have an
time.
ordinance that,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just asking, I don't know.
I think the resolution though is what you would need to change your times. I don't think you need an ordinance for that.
okay,
We'll work
that's
on that.
fine. We'll get, Shannon, you said you think you can, that way, it leaves you out. Not, I don't mean that bad. I'm trying to leave you out, but, you wouldn't have to worry about it. We could just do it. Was that the only one you had on?
Yeah, I was
committee?
just wondering about if we had to worry about making an ordinance or resolution, whatever it was, for the
Yeah.
time for their meetings. Other than that, there's only one council member, so I don't guess you'd have to worry about posting a quorum for it.
Well, unless the
Well-
council members want to come.
Yeah.
That should be on every.
I mean,
agenda.
yeah,
so-
Every
so-
agenda.
Be a
Did-
common thing.
Did y'all do an agenda, I guess, through the city, or did y'all get them to do anything? I guess they would need to do an agenda, right? No?
They
Just-
would need to do an agenda, well, for the workshop,
No. For the park committee to have their meetings, when they meet, say if they meet once a month or whatever, or no?
oh, I need to look at their.
Yeah, they're gonna be
That's
talking-
fucking Beautiful.
They're gonna be talking about certain events they'd like to bring on. The only thing that I see that would involve money would be something that they may have planned up, but maybe it needs a small amount of money to do something, but it wouldn't be their money. They would just
No, it'd be,
it would be a
they'd be
collaboration
requesting.
between them and the council. The council could vote for, to give the committee $100 to do whatever, and then we would write the check and it come out of a park line budget. I mean, the budget on one of the park, GLs, the general ledger. Line item. You're looking at me like, what?
They'll need like general, like the minutes and but they're not gonna have quite the same procedure that the city council does.
Right, no,
And I mean-
I'm just, well, and neither does Keep West Walking Beautiful, but they still do an agenda.
And they do meet on the same day of the month and
They have minutes.
at the same time.
Right.
So
And
if
they do
it'll make it
minutes.
easier, I can get with Jack to figure out kind of what they wanna do, and then I can get with Lee to figure out how to draw. That's what we.
Okay,
That's
okay.
fine. I just don't want.
Ma'am?
Sorry.
There ought to be probably a resolution that already exists, not obviously for the Parks Board, but for the P and Z
Yeah.
board. But that one is just really something you just need to edit.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking about. I'm sure that's what you're thinking about. Yeah. That's kind of the way Shannon does it. Plagiarism.
100%.
So, I guess, I guess since you have a meeting that's planned for the 10th, or not the 10th, Saturday at 10 a.m. I guess, just make sure that maybe somebody takes minutes or whatever, that way you guys will have that stuff, and then we'll get this thing
Might not even hurt to have just a short agenda, one of those things.
short up.
For a while, until we all get the same groove.
I mean, this is really just a brainstorming
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a lot like what you were dealing with y'all's HOA. Y'all did agendas for that, minutes for that. It's gonna be somewhat along the same lines.
Okay, so,
Saturday at 10.
But so wait,
what-
is y'all's action item on the agenda, your action item is scheduling it, but is it already scheduled?
Yes.
For scheduling a workshop.
Yeah, it is already scheduled, right? Yeah, it is. For June the 13th. What is it? What did you say?
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Well, I
I'm thinking
mean,
of something else.
yeah, I mean, obviously they scheduled it, the park committee themselves scheduled it, she's just sort of sharing that, I mean, I guess one could read this line item, it's really not for the council to schedule it, we're not gonna schedule their meetings, we all don't wanna have part in that. We wanna let,
Okay,
we
so
want.
this is not an action item, this is just discussion.
Yeah,
It's a discussion,
yeah.
Yeah, it's discussion and or take action, I mean, I guess there is an action to where we're gonna look at making sure we're doing minutes or whatever, or resolution.
I just want to make sure that I have freedom to schedule as needed, and I don't have to take 2 months to get something scheduled for y'all to approve it,
No,
for us to approve it.
that's what I think the beauty of this
I think
committee is that
No, and to that point, Jack, I think you really ought to look at doing, mandate that you guys do like a quarterly meeting, but that you would have the ability to call additional meetings as needed within certain parameters.
Okay,
kind of update where you are after the project or
Yeah.
something.
that's,
You've got it, I don't know what I'm talking
And you may wanna raise your own money sometimes too.
well, let's just see if we can move forward with this first, and then if
I'm
we
just saying
start,
down the road.
yeah, if we start to discuss money, and then we've got to come back and.
Yeah, crawl before you walk.
And see exactly, and see, if we can address it at that time.
about. Okay, number 9, citizens input, non-related to agenda items. Do we have anybody here tonight that wants to speak on non-agenda items?
Well, this might fit into here and it might not. One thing that the Planning and Zoning Committee has started doing is we're incorporating some education. If in a month that we meet, I'm including about a 10 to 15 minute little education section, because we've got new P and Z members. And on the things that P and Z people really need to know. Last week, the last meeting, we went through what are the different zoning that we have here in the city, and what does it mean, and how do they differ? Because I was trying to get the new people on the committee, the things that we see the most, them to feel comfortable making an honest decision on what's presented to us. So, it will be included, the months that we do that, it will be included on our agenda. So if for any reason any of you want to learn about the minutia of planning and zoning, we'll be talking about it over the next week.
Great.
Great idea.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, moving on to number 10.
Motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Kevin Pedersen.
Leon Myers.
Jack O'Connell.
Robin Myers.
Mr. Kemp.
If you're gonna do it, you gotta do